to order. For the courtesy of those listening to the meeting, I am requesting everyone in the audience, please turn off your electronic devices or put them on vibrate. Later in the meeting, up to 30 minutes will be provided for individuals to address the board on matters concerning the operation of the Marion County School System or the school board only. Presentations to the board are limited to 5 minutes and are televised. If you wish to address the board regarding a regular agenda item or matters on which the board customarily takes action, you must first complete a peach form located on the table in the hallway. If you wish to address the board regarding a public hearing or a student discipline matter, please complete a lime green form. These forms must be fully completed and received by the board secretary no later than 5:40 p.m. The procedures applicable for each are on a separate sheet. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Mrs. Nancy Stacy, District 1.
Here.
Mr. Bobby James, District 3.
Here.
Ms. Angie Boynton, District 4.
Here.
Ms. Beth McCall, District 2.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly King, District 5.
Here.
Dr. Heidi Mayer, Superintendent.
Here.
Mr. Paul Gibbs, School Board Attorney.
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Suzanne McGuire, Director of Family, School, and Community Engagement, is here to lead us in the pledge and will introduce individuals who will be providing the inspiration.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, superintendent. We all know there's a sea of pink here tonight, and October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm very excited this year that the school system actually formalized a team and an effort to support Making Strides in Marion County. Superintendent and Mrs. King were at the walk. I know Mrs. McCall, you were away. We got your donation. Thank you so much. And as of this afternoon, with the help of some of our schools and some fun activities that we had, we are the first place ranked team in Marion County with Making Strides, which is very exciting because I think not only is it the fundraising that makes a difference to the research and the program, but just the awareness. So today was Pink Out Day in Marion County, and I have some guests with us tonight who are all part of the Marion County family and are all survivors, and they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves. But at this time, if everybody would just please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. I'm going to call up our first team member, who's an honorary member of our family, Commissioner Michelle Stone. And I know she joined our team, and she's just going to share a little bit. And then I have all of our survivors who are just going to introduce themselves to you. Michelle?
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you so much, all of you, for participating in Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. It's an honor to be a part of the Marion County Public School System team, so thank you so much for including me, and thank you most especially for drawing awareness to the need to take personal responsibility for your health. And I'm speaking to women and men as I share this, based on the fact it is I who was able to find my own lump, and I am a proud 16-plus year survivor as a result of taking my health in my own hands. And so I'm very encouraged by the school system embracing this as well. So thank you, Dr. Mayer, and all of you, school board and chair, Madam Chair, for taking this on to really help our community and most especially draw attention to the need to be responsible for your own health. So God bless you all. Thank you.
My name is Jill Christmeyer. I come from Bellevue Middle School. I am luckily a survivor of cancer so far for about 9 years now. And I'd like to also, if you don't mind, the rest of the guests, I'd also like to keep in our minds and our prayers the people that we lost. I'm sure you know people that you've lost also.
Good evening. Patricia Cluster, Legacy Elementary, and I'm 11 and a half years.
Hi, I'm Debbie Martzoff, and I'm from Legacy Elementary School, and I am a one-year survivor.
My name is Teresa Mullins. I'm at Ward Highlands Elementary, and it was a little over 6 years ago. I was actually in here during my treatment, being honored at the school board. So I'm pleased to be back here again.
I am Savvy Narayan at Madison Street, HCA, a 3-year survivor.
It's okay to stand in front.
Hi, I'm Rose Rice, ESE coordinator, and I'm a 20-year survivor.
Hello, Dr. Nicole Christina Thornton, Assistant Principal of Horizon Academy. I am a 5-year breast cancer survivor.
Hello, I'm Donna Schaefer. I'm Assistant Principal at Marion Technical College, and I'm a 19-year survivor.
Good evening, Marcy Owens, Evergreen Elementary, EBD para, 10-year survivor.
Major Larry Bond, Marion Military Academy. I'm here to remind you that this is not a gender-specific disease. I am a 5-year survivor. I first encountered it when I had a 16-year-old student, Los Angeles High School, male, come down with breast cancer, and we're still in contact. He's still doing well. And yeah, it ain't just girls.
Hello, my name is Deborah Scott. I work at Maplewood Elementary School, and I was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and I am a 6-month survivor.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Calloway. I work with School Social Work Services, and I'm excited to say that I'm a 12-and-a-half-year survivor.
Marcia Daubenmeyer from Howard Middle School. I was diagnosed just before the hurricanes, so I am in process.
I also received some emails. Stephanie Calloway from South Ocala was supposed to be here. She actually went home with a fever today. Sandra Nadolny from Data Center is in treatment right now. She said she would love to be here but couldn't make it tonight. Candace Thornall from Greenway is battling her second round after, I think, 19 years in treatment. And Marion Orloff from Bellevue Elementary. So thank you all.
I'm going to have everybody look this way. Board members, would you mind standing so we can see you as well? Great, Dr. Merritt would ask you if you're standing. I know you are. And you're my boss, so I'm sure I'm going to pay for that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, couple more.
I could get on the
Thank
desk
you so
and
much.
check it right here. With the exception of item 24.1 and JD 18-06 under item 24.2, which have been withdrawn from the agenda, I recommend approval of the agenda for the October 24th, 2017 school board meeting with those materials in the board packet, those materials distributed to board members at the meeting, and the audio recording included as part of the official record of the meeting.
Thank you. May I have a motion on the superintendent's recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Mr. James. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the September 15th, 2017 administrative briefing and work session?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. James, seconded by Ms. McCall. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the September 18th, 2017 school board meeting?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Mr. James. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the September 21st, 2017 administrative briefing and work session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. James, seconded by Ms. Boynton. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And those that oppose, like sign.
Good.
And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to adopt a proclamation recognizing the month of October as National Bullying Prevention Month?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Boynton, seconded by Ms. McCall. All those in favor signify. Said yes, but I would have. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the motion passed 5-0. Mr. Kevin Christian, Public Relations Officer and TV of Media Productions Coordinator, and Dr. Dana Absher, Director of Alternative Learning, please come forward to address, for the reading and presentation of the proclamation.
We have a signed proclamation, but I believe Dr. Absher, you want to invite a couple of folks up first?
Yes, if that would be all right with you, we have our co-chairs of the Bullying Prevention Council here, as well as an active member, and if they don't mind joining us at the podium for the reading. I introduced to you Rebecca Barton, Student Services Manager at Hammett Bowen Elementary School, Rhea Curdy, Student Services Manager at Stanton Rearsdale, Rose Rice, also a member of the committee, ESE coordinator that you met just a moment ago, and Danny Petalino, who's a parent advocate and very active community member.
So let me read this proclamation. It says, National Bullying Prevention Month. Whereas thousands of Florida children and adolescents are affected by bullying each year, whereas targets of bullying are more likely to experience physical, emotional, and learning problems, and students who are repeatedly bullied often fear such activities as riding the bus, going to school, and attending community activities. Whereas children who bully are at greater risk of eventually engaging in more serious violent behaviors. Whereas children who witness bullying often feel less secure, more fearful, and intimidated. Whereas Florida school districts have developed anti-bullying policies and procedures to encourage positive behaviors addressing bullying behaviors. And whereas National Bullying Prevention Month encourages parents, students, teachers, and school administrators to be aware of when bullying occurs and to work together to increase awareness about bullying and how to prevent it. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Marion County School Board recognizes October 2017 as National Bullying Prevention Month and urges all Floridians to support activities promoting healthy children, youth, and character development. And of course, each of you has signed it, dated this evening, October 24th, 2017. Dr. Absher, on behalf of the board and the superintendent, to all of the folks who are involved in the anti-bullying programs, this goes to them,
All right.
obviously.
Thank you very much for your support of our efforts. We appreciate you.
I will now ask the school board's attorney to explain the rules governing persons who wish to address the school board tonight.
Thank you. Good evening. In compliance with Section 286.0114 of Florida statutes, the school board has adopted uniform procedures for public speakers who wish to speak at tonight's meeting either regarding one of tonight's agenda items or a matter relating to the operations of the school district. These procedures will ensure the public has a reasonable opportunity to be heard on school board and school district matters. A written summary of these procedures is available from the table in the hallway. Public speaker forms are also located on the same table. The completed forms were due to the school board's assistant no later than 5:40 p.m. Tonight's speakers will be called prior to the business portion of the school board's meeting in the order of receipt by the school board's assistant. Before you begin speaking, please state your full name and address for the record and spell your last name. Each speaker will have 5 minutes of time. However, if there are more than 5 persons who wish to speak, the board may seek consensus to limit each speaker's time to 3 minutes. When the speaker has 1 minute remaining, the speaker will receive a visual notice to complete his or her comments. Speakers may not yield their time to other people. Speakers and meeting attendees are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful and professional manner. Therefore, verbal attacks and profanity are strictly prohibited. If there are matters dealing with student discipline, including expulsions, they will be scheduled at the conclusion of the televised portion of this meeting. Parents may address the board regarding a discipline matter at that time. To ensure student privacy, only a parent or guardian may use a student's first or last name. Identifying references to or identification of other students and/or their families are also strictly prohibited. Thank you for your attention to the board's requirements.
Ms. Lefetter?
Mr. Ed Wilson?
Ed Wilson, W-I-L-S-O-N. That's the easy one, right? 6960 Southwest 155th Street, Dunellen, Florida. I intended to hand out to you the packet that we've been using in Tallahassee, but they're in your box since I'm not allowed to do it the same day. So the first sheet that you'll find in your box is the bill that we were able to get passed and signed into law last year, and some of the things that it accomplishes. It expands the ability to object to instructional material used in public schools in each county to include parents and residents. It specifically requires compliance with Florida Statute 847.012, which is dealing with obscene materials, and there's some more on here. The next page tells you a little bit about Florida Citizens Alliance and the initiatives we're working on in Tallahassee this year. The first one is to try to get Florida Department of Education to comply with Florida law. What a concept. That bill is in bill writing, and the same 2 sponsors that worked with us last year, Representative Byron Donalds and Senator Tom Lee, are working on that bill. The second bill is a meet or exceed bill, meet or exceed the statutes, the Florida standards, right? As a contractor, it's okay for me to exceed the building codes. And so that, to me, meet is okay, right? You don't need meet or exceed. But what I found is, with some research and some help, that Florida Department of Education has changed meet to aligned with. Aligned with does not allow any kind of variance, in my opinion. The next bill is a best practices financial management system accountability. That's really not gained any traction yet. The next sheet you'll find is 7 points of the language we'd like included in the first bill. And then the last several pages are the new and updated Florida Citizens Alliance Florida Curriculum Assessment that most of you have seen in the past, but it's updated. And I would ask that you please review this carefully and make sure we're not using any of these materials in our schools here in Marion County. Thank you all very much.
Gary Gerthy.
Good afternoon. Jerry Gerthy, 3560 Southeast 137th Lane, Summerfield, Florida, 34491. I want to thank you for coming here tonight. I know y'all work hard. I just had one brief question, or kind of maybe even we offered a jazz band competition for our county fair, and our band directors received an email saying they could not compete. We have a sponsor for this of $3,400, which first prize was $1,000, second prize was $500, and third was $250. Although I don't understand the reasoning why they weren't able to compete this year, I did want the school board to understand we did have the funding for this. Everything is paid for in our event, with the exception of the light, stage, and sound, and that guy's on our committee, but everything else has been paid for. So our student prizes would be, they're there. So, like I said, I don't know why they're not allowed to compete, but I hope you would reconsider. And if you wanted to look at my books, I brought them with me. If you wanted to look at bank statements, I have those too. So I'm here to answer questions if you had some.
I think what we're gonna do, I think this might be something that they should address maybe privately, and I think maybe at the end it may be addressed.
Okay.
In my comments, I'll clear up this misconception.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brenda Monteca.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name's Brenda Manteca, Manteca, of 7440 Southwest 100th Place, Ocala 34476. I'm currently the president of the Parent-to-Parent Committee at Marion Military Academy that was just developed. And it was developed to facilitate and encourage and to ensure an ongoing communication between cadets, parents, teachers, and staff. Our main goal is, of course, academic excellence, which I'm sure all of you on the board is hoping for as well. Marion Military Academy has been working closely with the parents of the committee to serve as a resource, as I said. And this is just another tool that MMA has put into place to ensure success for the school. Today I wanted to come here to share with you just a few accomplishments and dedications that's taken place at MMA that I think is important for you guys to be aware of. The first one is that I've already shared with you is the development of this committee, which has already proven to bring some success to the school during the first 9 weeks. And it is there, like I said, for academic excellence, responsibility, and core values that all citizens should encompass. Academically, which we're very impressed, and we know it's only the first 9 weeks, but I thought it was important to share that approximately 85% of the students at the school are displaying a C average or better. There was a total of 23 students with a D average, and we know that we don't want that. But they're aware of that, and they're doing additional one-on-ones, intensive classes, and there are 0 students that have a failing average grade for the first 9 weeks, and I think that's really impressive. It goes a long way to show that the school is doing everything they can. And as an added commitment, they're actually trying to develop a 6-day school week that gives parents and students access to the school on Saturdays. Some of the parents do not have computers or internet access, and we all know that that's become very crucial in this day and age in order to be successful academically. Teachers are volunteering time to come in to also be a resource, training that might be needed even for the parents, anything that they can do to help the students succeed. So that's something that they're working on now. Something else that makes me very proud of the cadets is, on their own accord, they decided to start a food bank. This was their own idea, and the cadets bring in food, non-perishable goods, that's used for families that are in need, those that are in the school, but also those that may be outside of the school. A great example is the Puerto Rican Relief Connection that we're doing, and some of those foods are actually already going to those families. So I think that that's something they should be commended for. In light of these recent tragedies in Puerto Rico, the school has taken it to heart, and they found it was a responsibility to pull the staffs and the cadets together to do their part to help mend that area. So on October 14th, 24% of the school went on a Saturday on a 2-hour hot bus drive down to Orlando to assist feeding children everywhere. Their goal was to pack 4.4 million meals and ship them out. The cadets packed 10,766 meals that were shipped to the citizens of Puerto Rico. So I think that that's something they should be commended for. They were accompanied by staff and teachers, and even during their active service, the staff took time to continue teaching. So that was a great opportunity. And of course, the last thing, very important piece that I wanted to address was the Marion County Fair, which is nonprofit. This was put together, the funds that are going to be received is also going to go towards this relief. All insurance coverages have been approved and adopted, and it was brought to the attention, there was allegations that schools were being prevented. I'm not claiming these allegations to be true, but I would like the school board to address those today. If the school board had decided that they don't want the bands or color guards to participate, just an explanation of why. And if they can, to just publicly state that they can participate so we can go ahead and move forward with this, because I think it would be really great for the community to see where their referendum money has gone. So, thank you very much.
John Townsend.
I'm John Townsend, 104 Hickory Loop, Ocala, Florida. Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Superintendent, and Board. I'm here today to clear up some things involving Florida Kids Helping Kids and the Marion County Fair. In 2015, I was introduced to Florida Kids Helping Kids by Miss Arnett, and I saw a really good thing happening in South Marion County where they were working with children and actually teaching children to work with each other, and there was about 15 to 20 children a few times I stopped by. In 2016, I became a board member to help market this program to help more children in the area, and I thought it was a good thing growing. Just as of June, if I'm not mistaken, there was discussion of bringing back the Marion County Fair, which is an idea I kind of thought was a cool idea. But it was an idea that I recommended we take a year to study and create a different board and get many people involved and really see how we can do it properly and secure it and make our name, Marion County, a good place and not a joke. And I wasn't taken seriously, and our board did vote, the Florida Kids Helping Kids voted against actually having the fair by the majority vote. And then I found out that they were going to continue to have it. So this is June of 2017, and we're going to have it in October and November of 2017 with no preparation time, no money, no research, no security, and we're dealing with some suggestions I had made was along that year, let's talk to the school board, let's talk and see what we can do to incorporate science fairs, art fairs, things we can do, because we do know that the agriculture community does not want to be involved with the Marion County Fair, period. So that was fine. Let's move on and see what we could do. So I'm just clearing my name because it was told by, have received several phone calls this week about this fair, and I have removed my name from the Marion County, the Florida Kids Helping Kids. I know 2 others have removed themselves from the board. I suggest, at this point right now, I know that they're down to 10 children that they're supposedly helping, and 5 of those children would be some of Miss Gertie's grandkids and one of the other members' children. So if you're a non-for-profit and half of your people you're helping are your family members, you're really not helping. That's your job as an adult and as a parent, is to take care of your own children. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have a great heart. I'm not here to slam people to the ground. But I would suggest that the school board does not get involved. It's very upsetting to me that the name Marion County is being used, and I don't think it's being used correctly. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go next week in front of the county commissioners to explain it, because I believe it should be stopped. A lot of embarrassment has been around this county for the past quite a few years in different areas, and that's something I want to be a part of stopping. So I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if not, I'll just thank you. And thank you for what you're doing, guys. You're doing a great job.
May I have a motion to adopt the 2017-2018 Student Progression Plan?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. McCall, second by Mr. James. Dr. Mayer?
The 2017-2018 Student Progression Plan has been revised to reflect the changes in legislation in order to be in compliance with Florida Statute 1008.25 and to clarify language concerning student progression in Marion County.
I declare a public hearing. Is there anyone present who wishes to address the 2017-2018 Student Progression Plan? Seeing none? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve consent agenda items C8.1-C18.2 as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. James, seconded by Ms. Boynton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the purchase of Gale databases and Gale Virtual Reference Library? Dr. Mayer, you wish to have your staff explain? Oh, I do.
So
I'm ahead of
moved.
myself.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Ms. Boynton. I'm excited about
I am
this.
too. Board, when we came up with this idea for this purchase, I said to Mrs. Moore and Mr. McAteer that we really needed to bring this as a discussion item for you, because the depth and breadth and quality of this purchase is outstanding. And I wanted the public to know about it, and I wanted you to be extra proud when you potentially approve this purchase. So Mr. McAteer and Mrs. Moore.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Board members, Superintendent Mayor, Ms. Flockett, Mr. Gibbs. I am very excited to be here this evening, along with Crystal Sismar, our Coordinator of Special Programs, to share with you some of the phenomenal resources available to our students and teachers through the Gale databases. Gale databases have been available to our students for over 7 years, and each year they offer more and more academic content. One of the great things about Gale databases is they promote our literacy skills for our students, digital literacy, not just literacy in the traditional standpoint, that we can download resources and they can go through and text code and do the things they need to do to make sure that they're developing their reading skills, but also being able to be digitally literate, which we know in today's environment is extremely important. They're available to our students and teachers and parents 24/7 through our student portal. They can just go through the single sign-on process for easy access. The content is downloadable, so they can take it if they're better reading a PDF or something like that, like many of us are. Instead of just reading a computer screen, they can take it, work at a bigger table, work with their friends, be able to do those types of things. Auto narration is available. They have great note-taking tools, things that you can use like you use in the Microsoft Office suite, where you can actually annotate know different things, go through information. And one of the neat things is they have translation tools for over 10 languages where you basically push a button and they translate it directly into those languages, which is great for a lot of our ELL learners. Just some statistics on our usage. We used, you can see 1.7 million minutes during the last school year, 85,471 individual sessions in at least one of the databases, almost 100,000 searches, and 53,000 full text article retrievals, which is awesome data for our students to be able to go to one place to be able to find the resources that they need. And I just wanted to basically share some information from an efficacy study done by Cengage Learning. In a 2-year study, they found that usage drives greater student achievement. It's a catalyst for teachers working with students to do more research-based strategies instead of just sit and get, so to speak. Students are able to go in, dig into these resources on their own, and be able to be learning facilitated by our teachers instead of just the normal sit and get. Students and teachers rank them as an outstanding learning tool. They expand learning experiences because they have so many different types of media. And one of the great things is support students working together in projects. We know in the workforce today that our students need to be able to have, we've been hearing it all year, but soft skills and being able to do those types of things. And Gail gives them a great opportunity to be able to pull resources and then work together on the projects that many of our teachers assign. So what I'm going to do now, Crystal's going to walk you through some of the very specific features that Gail offers. And if you have any questions about these, please feel free to see Crystal afterward, because we could probably spend, I've been in training school for 2 hours where you can't even touch the breadth of what this program has.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to walk you through some of the highlights of our Gale databases. As Mr. McAteer mentioned, they're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can access them at school, at home. However you access them, when you do access them, you come to our main Marion County homepage. So this is what our students see when they log into the Gale databases from home or from school. And we have them divided up into different tabs. You'll see across the top, elementary, middle, high school, ebooks. That's where our virtual reference library comes in. Career and technical resources, and professional development resources. When we have the students go into the databases, we try to chunk them into elementary, middle, and high school. They can cross over, but I'm going to walk you through a couple of the ones that are specific for elementary, a couple of highlights for the ones that are middle and high school, and really excited to introduce our new one we have for CTE, Testing, Education, and Reference Center. So when our students enter a Dale database, this is an example of kids' info bits for elementary school, and this is what they see at the search level. This is an example of someone searching for Florida resources, and they come into a splash page where they can see the different topics that come about from the Gale resources. You'll notice that there are a lot of different tools kids can use to learn about information literacy, how to find books. They can see different books, biographies, pictures, magazines by the content types. Each article entry, you can see if it's a short overview, if it's a brief article, or if it's a longer article. Teachers can use the information in our Gale resources to see if the article is an intermediate level, a higher level. They can reference it with Lexile levels to help the students. And our students, you know, even in kindergarten, start to learn that they look for a topic, they narrow their choices, and that there's different types of information they're going to find. It's not always going to be a book. Sometimes it is a newspaper. Sometimes it is a magazine. And that's the learning process in our elementary schools, is teaching students that there are different types of resources to use when you're searching for authoritative information. Now, in our middle schools and high schools, we have an example of a database called Student Resources in Context. And this is a great opportunity for students to learn about all sorts of subjects. With the new Global Logistics Academies at Lakeware High School in Westport, a big question sometimes a student might have is, what's logistics? How do I do more research about logistics? Gale databases are a perfect opportunity to dive in and do some research about logistics. In this example, this is actually someone pulling up an article. Now they've already done the search and they want to read the content. They have a variety of tools open to them. Mr. McAteer mentioned earlier that they can download, they can highlight, they can, you know, take it offline, put it to their iPad, iPod, listen to it as an MP3 file. They can also translate the tool, and each Gale article that they find can link them to other articles to find even more information. And that search process is where our students really learn organically by finding new things they're interested in and searching. Testing and Education Reference Center is something we're excited to bring to our high schools. It's a phenomenal, comprehensive database, and although it's geared for high schools, middle school teachers and teachers in general, our whole staff of Marion County Public School employees can get something from this database. It offers test preparation for AP test, SAT, ACT, GED, the stuff you can pay for, at Kaplan. You can take those same time tests and practice actual tests that are, available. So a student can log in, they can track their time, like if they were really sitting for the real SAT, and they can practice and they can find out, what they've missed, how they're doing, and prepare. For college planning, you can search for colleges, and you can find a whole bunch of information on tuition, scholarships, demographics. Old school used to be those big Peterson's guides to the different colleges, and now it's all online, and they can search for it, financial aid tools and scholarships. And finally, this is just a showing of the different tests and access databases that are available within Testing, Education, and Reference Center. There's something for everyone: professional, college prep, CTE, and vocational.
In our teacher certification test.
Yes, teacher prep test. There's teacher prep test that we can use for teachers. Graduate school, GRE, all kinds of things. And especially for CTE, the nursing exam, I think the actual nursing exam test would help even the nursing teacher teach the nursing courses. So, are there any questions?
Mr. James? Okay, I saw those glasses go up.
I have a
Mr.
question.
Paul?
So, the kids can actually take test prep, on the SAT and the ACT. Are there tutoring courses that go with it, or so they still have to purchase Kaplan if they want?
Embedded within the test prep portion are actually the test prep ebooks as well. So they could use the ebook, like instead of purchasing it at Barnes & Noble, use the online version and then go in and take the test prep.
Using our system, do they have to pay
No.
for the ebook?
No, we pay for it as the database. So once you're in the
Oh,
database,
my goodness.
all
That's
this,
great.
all this is a part of the database.
That is
This is
amazing,
exciting,
because
yes.
that's expensive, and it really takes some of our students away from being able to prep because of the cost. So this is,
And they can do it from home.
how long have we had this?
We've had the databases for over 7 years, but we're just adding test prep. That's something new this year for all of our high schools. Westport's had
That
it,
is
Stanford.
amazing,
Great.
amazing. That's great.
And even for our staff who may be going on for a graduate degree, they can prep
Exactly.
for their GRE this way
Exactly.
too.
And one of the things I just wanted to add is Crystal and I have made it our goal this year to really, really educate the community on this. That's part of the reason Dr. Mayer really wanted us to be out here, because
Yeah.
this is kind of one of those things with a district as large as ours. We really need to let as many folks know as possible. I know that every year at my SAC meetings when I was a principal, this was my media specialist always had a section in the SAC meeting, and this was every year in the September SAC meeting. This was the first thing that she shared with our parents and the community members, because there's just so many things there. You could spend an hour, hour and a half in this and just not even tap the surface of the resources. So thank you for listening to us and making sure that you understand our passion for this, because it is really, really a great thing for our students and, as Dr. Mayer alluded to, our teachers.
It's a great tool, really great tool. Wow.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the following cash or tangible donations that have a total value of $27,500, $25,000 to Dr. N.H. Jones from the Dr. N.H. Jones Parent Organization, $2,500 to Marion Technical College from Jenkins Auto Group.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, seconded by Mr. Gaines. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. Ms. Stacy, would you like to thank the people that donated?
Thank for our donations.
Yes.
I would. It's nice that the economy's coming back a little bit, and some of our dollars are coming back to just into the community, and that the residents and the citizens of Marion County are able to help us more. You can see as the economy picks up, you start to see our donations picking up, and people in the community, the businesses have money, we're finding business partners and things. And I would just like to thank the community for supporting our school system. I can't think of a better place to invest our money than in the future of our children, so thank you.
Thank you. The next administrative briefing and work session is scheduled for Thursday, November 9th, 2017 at 9 a.m. The purpose of the work session is to receive updates on construction projects and community and technical education. And we're going to move along to our board comments, and we will begin with Ms. McCall.
Okay, great. Last week I had the opportunity to go to the CEP, Chamber Economic Partnerships, business after hours at the Marriott, where they actually hosted our CTE, Career Technical Education programs. Lots of teachers there. Mark Vianello did an outstanding job. Mr. McAteer was there, of getting the teachers there, and they were mingling and talking to the business people that were there. So it was a very large crowd, and I think it was a great thing to have our teachers out there. And then on Friday, along with Ms. McGuire and Dr. Mayer and Dr. Ham, we got to plant in the very first Feed the Need garden at Bellevue Santos. It was a lot of fun. So when you get those invitations, I suggest you go and turn a little dirt for those nice raised beds. Every class, grade level, had a bed that they would be tending to. So it was a lot of fun and a great project. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Boynton?
Well, I went back to Tallahassee. The senators invited me to come over to talk about for our students to change their excuse me again. You know, I do what they say to do it, and sometimes I try to do so quick, but it's for your testing for the children. And so there's some ideas that he came up with, and it was really, I was like, we have some senators that want to change some of those things, and they're going to get it back, if it's voted on. So, but it was good for me to listen to them. Also, I had an idea about a new policy. It was not passed, but I would like to I'm going to put it up on Facebook so people understand why I'm doing, because it's easy for you to understand when I'm not talking, you can't hardly do it, but when I just write it on, so you better some of the things, even if they don't vote it on, at least you would know what I'm doing. So I'm going to put that up on Facebook, okay, and I have up there too. And by starting tonight, I will be in Gainesville for the FSA leadership meeting as well. So a lot of the meetings. So, but I will be there, and I will bring the information back to all the school boards so you understand what's going on. Thank you.
Let me just say this before I get started. I'm going to be Mr. Killjoy a little bit tonight. And if you were around a little bit, there was a guy that came on the radio they called it Mr. Killjoy. I know we're doing some neat things in the school district, but I do have some concerns. And I think I need to voice them now because I'm running out of time. And when I say that to you now, these are some things. We have eliminated homework. I have no problem with what the superintendent's recommendation was, that we eliminate homework throughout the district. But I do feel that we got to give parents and people some opportunity to express themselves. And I got the impression from a lot of them that they read about what we've been doing in the newspaper in reference to eliminating homework. So I realize that. So I have some concern that we're not being transparent enough when we make these major changes in what we're doing. I was looking at, and my concern is I was looking at District E. I walked into District E because I walked into the superintendent's office and she was moving on me. They were moving to the east. Okay, it's in the 5-year plan. I've heard that was in the 5-year plan. But usually I will ask, what's the price tag? As I was going through the minutes, I noticed that we had in our young parenting program, we were spending $400 and some odd thousand to develop that. But do we know that when I look at the move to the east, it will cost us $1 million or close to $1 million? And I don't know whether you or the board were aware that those numbers are coming up like that. 995, that's what I was hearing, $100,000 to make that move. I believe it's a good move, but I don't think we knew about it unless y'all knew about it. Did y'all know that it was gonna cost that much?
No.
Okay, so I'm concerned about things like that when I walk in and I hear things like that. Thursday, we walked in here and we were talking about a reading program, which appeared to be a very good reading program. But folk, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'd like to walk into a place and hear a presentation for 45 minutes and almost walk out here with $1 million. I have some concern that we have not vetted this thing. I know we got board members that are gonna make a few calls up there and check it out. But if we're gonna put $1 million in this thing, I think y'all need to make a trip up there to see what they're doing and make sure that we are on the right page here. Because it sound like a good program, but I still believe if you go out and get a used car, go kick the tires. Y'all go up north and see what them people doing up there with this stuff. And I think this is something that we need to look at. Doc, I talked with you, and I asked the question of where this money was coming from. You gave me some different pots. And I heard, well, we can get it out of the ad valorem taxes, we can get some from the general, get some from our funding. I've been on this board 11 years, and we have been trying to get the fund balance up. What I'm hearing now that we are close to having 6%. Okay, when I say why is that important? Because we are in a high state of hurricane season. And we have an opportunity to get the fund balance up, because if we get hit and we have to do some major repairs, the money's gonna come out of the general fund. I know we have insurance and all that stuff, so don't run that. So I'm concerned that I'm looking at the pots and what we're doing. And I've always been concerned about these things in terms of planning for the future. And when I look at what we're talking about, I believe we're going in the right direction, but I believe we need to stop and look at what we're doing. We need to go and verify that this thing is as good as they say it is, because we're talking $1 million in 35 minutes. I'd love to have a sale where I can walk in here and get something out of here for $35 million, for $1 million. And then somebody make a couple of calls. And you know and I know, if you get a couple of calls up there, you're gonna hear what you want to hear.
I'm a good interrogator.
Yeah.
You can interrogate, you're still gonna hear what you want to hear. And when I look at what we're talking about in terms of where we are, when I look at the District East over there, I want to see some blueprints. Have y'all seen blueprints on what we're doing?
Mm-mm.
Do we have them yet? Doc, you don't have to answer that. If you got them, get them to us, because I haven't seen them.
May I address? We're in the process of trying to relocate function to District East.
we have several different ways to go with that plan. For example, right now, it's in what we call Google Space, which is an open space with a lot of people working in close coordination. If we spend X number of dollars to put up walls, then we encounter code restrictions on how many square feet you have and what the access looks like. But that's one possibility. That would mean we would have fewer people in there and would have spent money. There are several options that we're looking at. You mentioned the figure of over $900,000 that's in that 5-year plan that you looked at that's earmarked for that facility. However, $200,000 of that was shifted over to the YPP program to expand the capacity, because we know already that the numbers of young people that will be taking advantage of that program has gone up. Secondarily, one thing we know absolutely is that the air conditioning requirements alone for the former Forest campus, where we're trying to move our headquarters, will run about $6 million. I've asked Mr. Knight to look at several different options on how best to use that money, to develop a plan for refurbishing Building 1, to develop an option for not investing in the $6 million in the AC program, but rather build a new building that would give us 25 to 30 years of viability, rather than continue to maintain a 60-year-old facility. We always have these options, and no doubt when you review the 5-year plan, you see a lot of movement within that plan. We have some preliminary drawings about what Building 1 would look like if the decision that you make when we bring it to you would be to go ahead and refurbish it and build it out in that way. We want to give you some choices. Your question about the reading program, what I said during the work session was that there are 2 ways we could pay for that. We could leverage debt and shift a capital program into debt and use that money earmarked for capital outlay to pay for the program. Or the one that you all said you'd like to follow was to take money from referendum, and we have a fund balance we carried over from last year of referendum dollars. And reading was the #1 first mentioned item that the voters approved on that referendum money, and this is a reading program that uses a great program to reach kids before they come to us as kindergarten students. And we know that if we can get them reading earlier, that 3 million word deficit that we deal with, 30 million word deficit, is easier to compensate to get them on grade level by the time they're in the 3rd grade. To be honest with you, sir, you all can't kick the number of tires that need to be kicked. That's why we have a staff, and that's why we have people that look into this program. It isn't a 35-minute presentation that we came to you and asked you to dedicate $1 million. It's a lot of background checking before we even bring it as a proposal.
Okay, let me just share this with you. I understand the need for the kids, but I understand that this board need to know. And when I say that, we need to know what we're doing. Now, I was looking at the sheriff out there, and I was looking at Roseanne out there from the various places. And to me, that was just a clear attempt to convince us that this was a good program. Okay, I'm not questioning the quality of the program for students. I'm questioning whether are we doing our due diligence on this thing, because I know those people that were sitting out there didn't have any more information than we did, because they were just here because they were asked to come here. So when I look at things like that, all I want is for us to send somebody down there to find out what we're doing. And when I look at our program and I like what we're doing here, I look at Dr. Grantham as the guru to me in terms of education, in terms of what we're doing on the curriculum side. When I don't see him up there pushing this stuff, then that makes me think there's something here. Because if I got a plumber doing electric work, I got a problem with that. So when I think in terms of where we are, I want to know what we're doing. And as a board, I'm telling you, we got some phone calls. We looked at a video. We looked at the superintendents from various counties doing what they're doing in their county. But other than that video and the phone calls that you all go make, that's all we know about this. Okay, I recognize the fact that the superintendent has brought in some good ideas, but what I'm saying is I want to verify some of this stuff, that this stuff is actually happening. Because I'm sure they got a PR person up there where we saw those things from, and they're pretty good too. But if we had somebody walk around taking a look at how they're implementing it, because I did ask some people that's not part of our staff, how would they implement this program? And when I look at things that in the middle of the year, when I'm talking about the middle of the year, I'm talking about we're going on semester break here, and then I'm saying, well, why this won't wait for next year? I don't have a problem if we have a legitimate reason on why it won't wait till next year, but will that give us enough time to find out if this thing is really working? And this is what some of the things I'm concerned about. You know, when I look at us looking at the District E over here, in District East, there's nothing wrong with us looking at this before we get all the way down the road. I think the board ought to be pulled along or educated along with it rather than come in at a meeting, come in to a workshop and boom, and tell us what we're doing and how we're doing and show us some pictures. I don't like seeing things when I walk in there and I see stuff and I'm saying, whoa, because I do believe we have some good ideas, but I don't believe we are educating people around here like they should be in reference to what we're doing. And that's my thought for the day.
All right, sir. I guess I need some more clarification on what you expect at a work session.
Well, let me tell you what I expect. When y'all go to spending $1 million or getting ready to spend $1 million, I expect the board to be informed of it. I expect the board to be informed when we got a guy coming in here that's going to sell us something that's going to cost us $1 million, for us to go ahead and say, hey, we're going to send some people up there to check this thing out. That's what I'm expecting, and y'all may have something different. And that's what my concern is right here. And that's my thought for the day. And whether they agree with me or not, that's my thought for the day. And board, I know as a board, we need to do this. We need to, we need to verify stuff. And if you're supposed to be on first, I don't expect you to see you in center field. That'll get me going. That's where I am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Stacy?
Well, I'm a religious person. King Solomon says, a wise man listens to wise counsel. Mr. James, you're our senior board member. I look at you as wise counsel. I too am concerned about what is happening over at District East. I think sometimes we get overly enthusiastic about things, and we sometimes put the cart before the horse, and we don't really mean to, but as a contractor, I know how quickly things can get out of control when you just remodeling. You're going to remodel this, but then when you fix that, it makes this look so bad. And then this looks so bad, and then you got to fix that. And it becomes just a snowball financially. And anyone that's ever even remodeled their home, they know that. And this is large. And when I look at the money that we're talking about using to remodel for district offices, I feel like if we're going to play Santa Claus, we should play it for children, not district administrators first. North Marion cafeteria. We went to North Marion. Most of us were there. we saw the need. Mrs. Johnson did everything but get on her hands and knees and beg and plead for us to help her figure something out there. And Mr. Knight comes before us and tells us we don't have money. And then all of this money materializes that's for this remodeling that's rolling along that I really didn't even know anything about. And as a school board member, you know, I have a problem because we are the ones voting to move forward on the bills. But if you spend the money before the school board knows about it, then we're kind of forced into approving things, and it puts us in a bad place, because at the end of the day, no one's going to remember that district administrators put the cart before the horse. All they're going to remember is that recorded vote that went down on that computer where we had to approve these expenditures because the place was in turmoil, upside down with renovation, and we couldn't stop. So how about let's put on this right now? I know different superintendents through the years have talked about leaving this building here. It's not perfect, but when I go into some of the old schools, those teachers are teaching in not perfect environments. And I don't know if this business is about adults or about children in the eyes of some. But this is a place for children first. My grandmother always told me, children and animals go first. And I believe that we need to look at the needs of the students and what the students need before we look at what the adults need. And so I would like to thank Mr. James for, I was on that page, Mr. James, and you are my wise counsel. You are our senior board member. And I want to thank you for stepping out and starting a conversation for us. I will be calling, I will be checking on the academic program. I'm excited about the academic program. If it works as it's been explained to us, I'm excited about it. But if you're not convinced, then there's people in this community looking at us spending $1 million that won't be convinced. So I would like to help convince everyone that this is a good program. I feel good about it, but if there's people that are in leadership in this school system that doesn't feel good about it, then I feel it's my place to dig harder and make a trip or whatever it is I need to do to look at it. And so thank you, Mr. James. I appreciate it. And I'll get off of my rant tonight again.
Linda, I'm going to ask that you please, if we can set a date for a work session to discuss District East. Mr. Gibbs?
Yeah, just one issue. As you guys know, on Thursday, I advised you of a new offer from GVH, who currently has the leases on the cell towers. After communicating your decision from, or the consensus that the board had on Thursday, they are requesting the board appoint a representative to have a meeting with them, and I am floating the offer here if you would like to appoint a board member who will meet with them, or if the chair wants to meet with them, that's fine if that's the board's decision. And I'll set up a meeting. If not, I'll communicate that the board's not interested and our terms are our terms.
Are they willing to pay more?
If
We have a meeting, are they willing to pay more?
All they're requesting right now is a meeting with a board representative, so that's why I'm here. They didn't say they were offering, and our council has forwarded the demand to make a market rate offer, so.
Well, I think somebody needs to meet with them. Oh, me?
Do they want a board member or they want somebody to meet with them?
Yeah, they want a board member to meet with them, so they're asking the board to appoint somebody to meet with them in a meeting. And I'll be there, and I'm assuming the representative who showed up here at the last board meeting will also be there.
Can we have somebody from staff, like Mr.
Yeah, I was gonna
Hanson,
have
that
Mr.
absolutely
Hanson
knows
here.
what's going on with this? Because I'm certainly not one that knows what's.
Well, it seemed like to me, if they're asking the board to appoint somebody, seemed like we can appoint Dr. Ham. because he's our facilities man.
Yeah, that's true.
you know, and they are professionals at what they do. He's a professional at what he do.
If that's the board's prerogative, that's,
Yeah.
I'll go back to him with it.
I don't disagree with that at all.
You know, maybe there's something about this that maybe our market value that we want, maybe there's really some reason that it can't be that way that we don't know. And, I mean, I wouldn't mind if Dr. Ham was there, but I wouldn't mind a school board member being there to kind of hear the people's voice as they're talking about it. Because maybe we're saying, well, the market value is this and this is what we want. Well, maybe they can share with us in a way that we maybe understand better than y'all understand why that's not possible. And I would feel, this has been going on a while, I would feel very comfortable. And I do know that Ms. McCall is a contract person, and I think she's very fair and reasonable. And I believe she is intuitive, and I would like to appoint Ms. McCall, if the board
I'm
members
happy to
agree,
do it,
to
as
at
long as
least
somebody
sit in on
goes
this meeting and kind of
And the lawyer,
hear,
too.
That's fine.
and kind of hear what's going on, to
Okay,
hear.
so that's what we've decided. Ms. McCall will represent the board.
Make sure you're the lawyer work too.
Is there anything else?
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay,
All right.
Ms. Whiteheader? Dr. Mayer?
Hi. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Officer Barry, thanks for being with us tonight. And if you all notice, Officer Barry has a little bit of a sunburn because he was out at the Marching Band Festival on Saturday. He was our SRO in charge, and it was great to see him out there. And we were chatting before the meeting, what a professional event that was, wasn't it? It was great. There were marching bands from all across Florida there, and it was just a quality event, and it was great to be out and support our kids there. Tomorrow, Wednesday, October 25th, from 5:30 to 8, we will be having the first superintendent's Halloween scene. Oh, tell me, Kevin. Safe Halloween scene. So it is a community trick-or-treat event, a safe Halloween event for our kids to come, and it will be at District East office. All of our District East family, they're kind of in a competition for the costume contest. We've got some great contests going on in there. And then we also have departments who aren't located there who will have tables set up. And Ms. Dobbins showed me the schematic this evening. We've got 20 tables set up outside besides everybody inside, besides we're going to have Kona Ice and face painting, and it is a free family activity, and we are just so excited to offer that to the children of Marion County. And it's also kind of like an open house so that people can come through and meet the people that shape curriculum for our district and see how that layout is set up. So again, that's at the District East office, 5:30 to 8. There'll be plenty of signs, and thanks to Ms. Dobbins, Ms. McGuire, Ms. Vitale for getting that all set up. And when we do talk about District East office, that has been a discussion since, well, gosh, next month will be a year. Next month will be a year that we've had this discussion, and I think we've been pretty transparent about that. So to suggest that it wasn't known, I don't think is a correct statement. So we just want to put that out. And board, your job is to approve purchases, and it's my job to convince you to approve those purchases. So for me to have a presentation, of course I'll have a presentation, but it is my job to convince you to make that purchase. I respect the discussion. I welcome the discussion, and I thank you for it. And I thank you for the opportunity to provide more information as you wish. As I will say that I think this administration has been more transparent than previous ones. That's why we have so many awesome presentations like we did tonight about Gale and about other purchases, is that I want you to know and to know that we are very upfront about where our taxpayer money is going. So again, I thank you for that conversation tonight, and I welcome more discussion on purchases. I do want to make another clarification too. There were some references to this proposed Marion County Fair, and I need you to know that I have never had conversation with anyone from Kids Helping Kids about participating in this proposed fair. I have never had discussion with the people who presented tonight. I can tell you that in June 2017, I was made aware that my name was being dropped in the community, saying I had approved school district participation in this proposed fair, and one of my personal friends actually reached out to me and to a member of my staff, stating that a representative from that organization had told my friend that I had given approval for the district to participate. At that time, it was just new conversation, and so I said to my staff member, please reach out to this organization and just see if they can get us a proposal of what they expected, how our students would be expected to participate, and the liability. Because again, board, if I'm not keeping our kids safe, nothing else matters. That's the bottom line. So we reached out to a representative who was here for a written plan regarding the proposed fair and how we would participate. And I can tell you that as of right now, I have not received anything. On August 28th, and I confirmed that date via email, a male and a female representative from Kids Helping Kids stopped by our vocational offices unannounced for the second time, asking my staff to allow students to sell ads and for our culinary students to participate. And per the email documentation from a staff member, this staff member said, the lady from Kids Helping Kids today said she just wants someone in the district to tell her yes. And as of that point, we had not received any formal communication. That plan was not received, and therefore, again, we could not move forward with any participation in this event. Again, there has been no request to me or my district staff for our school bands to participate in this proposed fair, and no one has contacted me about this event. Recently, another colleague, of whom I have the highest admiration and respect, resigned from the board of Kids Helping Kids, and this colleague just last week made the time to call me to explain why she had left the board, and she shared another story that was being told, that I had sent emails to schools instructing them not to participate. There is no email because nothing happened. My esteemed colleague's resignation further confirmed my thoughts that this proposed event is not being planned or implemented with fidelity or the high standards that we would expect, and I am still waiting on that proposal that I asked for in June. It's also important to note that none of what I've just said has anything to do with Francis Marion participating, and everything to do with the lack of communication and planning, not receiving that proposal, and the obvious lack of transparency about this proposed fair. Now I need your help. I need your help for our read aloud tonight. He's in the spirit of, hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. Ms. Stacy, we talked earlier, you will be the Mama Owl. Mr. James, you said that you would be the tree, and you're in brown. Okay, we need Sarah.
You're Sarah.
Percy.
Oh, I love Percy.
And we need Bill.
And you're Sarah.
Because tonight, ready? Yeah, tonight is
No,
Owl
you're Sarah.
Babies.
Angie,
I'm
you're
not-
Sarah.
Sarah. Ms. Boynton, you're Sarah.
And what you want me to do?
Okay, yes, you're
Sing
the owl. You're one of the owl babies.
Hey.
Okay. Once there were 3 baby owls, Sarah, Percy, and Bill. They lived in a hole in the trunk of a tree with their owl mother. Thank you. The hole had twigs and leaves and owl feathers in it. It was their house. One night, they woke up, their owl mother was gone. Where's Mommy? Where's Mommy? Asked Sarah. Oh my goodness, said Percy. I want my mommy, said Bill. The baby owls thought. All owls think a lot. I think she's gone hunting, said Sarah. To get us our food, said Percy. I want my mommy, said Bill. But their owl mother didn't come. The baby owls came out of their house and they sat on the tree and waited. A big branch for Sarah, a small branch for Percy, and an old piece of ivy for Bill. She'll be back, said Sarah. Back soon, said Percy. I want my mommy, said Bill. It was dark in the woods, and they had to be brave, for things moved all around them. She'll bring us mice and things that are nice, said Sarah. I suppose so, said Percy. I want my mommy, said Bill. They sat and they thought. All owls think a lot. I think we should all sit on my branch, said Sarah. And they did, all three together. Suppose she got lost, said Sarah. Or a fox got her, said Percy. I want my mommy, said Bill. And the baby owls closed their owl eyes and wished their owl mother would come. I need you to help me. Shut your eyes and wish. And she came! Mrs. Stacy, that's you.
Can you get up?
Soft and silent, she swooped through the trees to Sarah and Percy and Bill. Mommy, they cried, and they flapped, and they danced, and they bounced up and down on their branch. What's all the fuss? Their owl mother asked. You knew I'd come back. The baby owls thought. All owls think a lot. I knew it, said Sarah, and I knew it, said Percy. I love my mommy, said Bill. The end. Thank you, board. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
We have to go on.
I know, we do have to go on. And I just want to tell you guys about a good experience I had today. I went up to Reddick, and I had the opportunity to visit Miss Parker's second grade classes. They were practicing and learning archery, you know. And I just thought, they didn't teach that when I went to school. We didn't have archery. But literally, those students were so engaged. They knew she would tell them to table. They would table their bow and then pull it back and snap it. And, you know, they learned about their dominant eyes. I learned that I'm left eye dominant and right-handed. And it was just, it was a good experience.
Awesome.
You know, it just was. And their hand dexterity and stuff. It was just awesome. So maybe other schools may do it. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out. Also, I was out there because I do Reading Pals, and we know that reading aloud is extremely important for children as it builds foundational skills, it introduces and exposes vocabulary, and it models fluent and expressive reading. And most of all, it teaches children to love to read and to enjoy it. So if you happen to have any time during your week for maybe 1 or 2 days for 30 minutes, I encourage you to join Reading Pals. We have many schools that need volunteers, and if you're interested, please contact Jan Hathaway. She's the Reading Pals Program Director at 352-732-9696, extension 212. And I have to kind of throw this in because I saw a little advertisement for the Wall Street Journal, and it said, read ambitiously. And then it hashtag don't wait. And so I was like, I kind of think that's kind of cool, the don't wait. So, and then I'm going to end on Zig Ziglar, as he says to take time and to be kind and to say thank you. And today I want to express my gratitude and thankfulness for all of our employees that are dedicated and diligent in all that you do. Our employees are the key that will make this district successful, and I do not take you for granted, but with gratitude. And I'm going to end on that. Okay. Before addressing expulsion matters, I wish to acknowledge that board members have received the alternative placement list for students through October 6th. Squawk Cutter, are there any parents who have submitted a timely request to speak on their child's disciplinary matter?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the expulsion of student JD 18-03, JD 18-04, and JD 18-05 with educational services through the entire 2017-2018 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCall, second by Mr. Jones. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those that oppose, like sign. And the motion passed 5-0. There being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. James, second by Ms. McCall. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And those that oppose, like sign.
So they could fix your
And our motion
computer.
passed 5-0. The meeting is adjourned at 6:56 PM.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, that's the reason that it didn't happen was because it's already budgeted.